And to our top story now, emergency crews still searching the waters of Lake Ontario at this hour after a man in his 20s fell off of a boat near Bluffers Park last night. Our Tammy Sutherland is at the scene right now. And Tammy, how extensive is this search behind you right now?
Well, it involves the Canadian Coast Guard, Melanie, as well as the Royal Canadian Air Force. A Griffin helicopter was involved in this search overnight, and that on top of the Toronto Police Marine Unit and Toronto Fire searching for this missing man in his 20s. Now, it's reported that this man was on this boat here with a group of friends out in the water about 1,000 or 2,000 feet offshore when he somehow fell overboard, fell into the water itself. The victim was reportedly wearing a life jacket, but it may not have been zipped up. No life jacket has been recovered at this point, and nor has the boater himself. Now, police again have searched throughout the night, and they are expected to continue on throughout the morning as well as they continue to search for this man in his 20s. There's no word on exactly how he fell off of this boat at this point, but we are hearing that a group of friends were on a boat at that time, and it was about 9:45 last night. So again, we have an extensive search that will continue, especially now that there is daylight. This search will continue, and on top of it, the good news is that search conditions, according to the Trent Rescue Center, they say that the water itself is in good condition right now. It's very calm, and that will hopefully help in this search. They're asking anyone who may have spotted anything as well last night to give them a call if it has any information that may help them to continue looking for this man. Mel, I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Tammy, thank you for that. We'll check in with you shortly. Meanwhile, to other news, Doug Ford preparing for life in the Premier's office. The Premier-elect telling our Cynthia Mulligan on Sunday he plans to deliver on what he promised on the campaign trail.
Again, like, you know, how quickly can you fire the $6 million man or bring a buck of beer to Ontario?
Well, I think pretty quickly, but I first want to get our cabinet together and sit down with our whole team and make sure that everyone understands the path we're going down.
Mm-hmm. Ford says he first has to take a look at the books and see what the Liberals have left for him. He is pledging a third-party audit of these books. He's also promising to repeal the Liberals' updated sex ed curriculum. However, he would not comment on when or how he would scrap the cap-and-trade program or if he will introduce back-to-work legislation to end a months-long strike at York University here in Toronto. He's going to be meeting with his caucus a week tomorrow. U.S. President Donald Trump continuing to stoke the flames with Canada this morning on the heels of the G7 summit in Quebec. Trump's top aides saying Prime Minister Trudeau's remarks were a betrayal. Trump fired a tweet at our PM calling him very dishonest and weak at the end of the G7. Now, Trump also hinting he is taking aim at the Canadian auto industry like he has with Canadian steel and aluminum exports now subject to double-digit tariffs. Trudeau's office arguing that everything that was said at the G7 has been said before. Now, the U.S. president has arrived in Singapore, now turns his attention to his historic planned sit-down with one of the most reclusive leaders in the world, Kim Jong-un. The North Korean leader has shown an element of surprise in his meetings with the leaders of South Korea and China in the last few months. Political watchers say Kim comes to these get-togethers very well researched and is very prepared.